The first assumption: opening the door of consciousness. Today, we explore Neville Goddard's most fundamental teaching, the law of assumption. This is not a method of thinking. It is a law of consciousness that can transform the entirety of your being. Neville once said, "What you truly believe becomes your reality." The world does not move by chance. Whatever you assume to be true within yourself inevitably unfolds as your outer experience. The law of assumption is not about positive thinking. It is the art of living from the feeling and conviction that what you desire has already been fulfilled. This is not a dream confined to imagination. It is a fundamental principle of the unseen world, that your present state of consciousness creates your reality. When you inwardly assume, "I already have it," the universe begins to respond to that conviction. Reality reshapes itself to mirror the pattern of your assumption. Most people say, "I will believe it when I see it." But Neville taught, belief comes first, and the result follows. Nothing changes until you first believe. He asks us, what state are you assuming right now? Is it a state of lack and fear, or a state of wholeness and freedom? Whatever you assume in each moment molds the entirety of your life, for assumption itself is the seed of creation. Now, close your eyes and take a deep breath. Whisper within, "It is already done." This is the first key that opens the door of consciousness. The law of assumption is not a truth to be understood intellectually, but to be proven through living. When belief and feeling unite, your reality is born anew. From today, we must learn to live not from the results of thought, but from the results of assumption. When your feeling abides in the state of fulfillment, the world cannot help but reflect that state. Neville declared, "What you desire is not outside you. It is within your consciousness." Change your consciousness, and everything changes. To practice the law of assumption is not to wait for the result, but to feel yourself living in the fulfilled state. The moment you feel it as real, you are no longer a slave to the old reality. From that moment on, reality kneels before your new belief. From this moment forward, our journey will be an experience of the power of belief itself. Step into the world that matches your assumption. This is the secret of creation, Neville revealed. Creation is not something found outside. It is an act of consciousness within. In the following sessions, we will learn how to apply this law in daily life, and how an assumption held in imagination blossoms into visible reality. If you imprint these words upon your heart, your life will unfold on an entirely new level from this day forward. The beginning is now. The door of the law of assumption is open. How the law of assumption works. Every creation begins with consciousness. Before there was form, there was awareness. Before there was movement, there was imagination. Everything you experience in the outer world first existed within you. As an idea, a belief, a mental image, or an emotional state. Neville Goddard said, "Consciousness is the only reality." That means what you are aware of being, not what you wish, not what you hope, but what you accept as true about yourself, becomes the very substance of your world. When you assume a state, you clothe your consciousness with it. You become it in awareness. The universe has no choice but to mirror that inner condition. This is not magic. It is law. The two levels of creation. There are two main levels in this process. 1. The inner world of consciousness, where all things are conceived. 2. The outer world of experience, where those inner states become visible. Most people believe the outer world controls the inner, but the truth is the exact opposite. The outer world is nothing but a shadow, a reflection of the inner world's light. When you change what you assume to be true, within the shadow must follow. The mirror cannot resist the image that faces it. The role of feeling. Neville emphasized, feeling is the secret. It is not enough to merely think or say something. You must feel it as real. For it is feeling, not words, that impresses the subconscious mind. Your subconscious does not argue. It accepts whatever you feel deeply to be true and reproduces it in form. If you constantly feel lack, fear, or doubt, those emotions become instructions to your creative power. And it obeys faithfully, not to punish, but to express your inner assumption. But when you feel joy, gratitude, and completion, even before the evidence appears, you activate the creative law in its highest form. Your feeling is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. The subconscious as the servant. Your subconscious mind is the silent builder of your world. It does not originate. It only obeys. It takes the mold of your assumptions and brings them to life. Whatever dominates your inner conversation, whatever image you return to again and again, becomes the blueprint for your reality. This is why Neville taught the art of revision. To rewrite the past in your imagination until it feels natural and complete. For once you revise your emotional relationship to an event, you change its influence upon your present and future. State of being, not words. The law of assumption does not respond to words, but to states of being. You may say, I am rich 1,000 times, but if you feel poor, your world remains poor. To assume is to embody, to feel yourself into the state you wish to experience. It is not pretending, it is choosing. Choosing to dwell in the consciousness of fulfillment until it becomes natural. As Neville said, assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled and observe the route that your attention follows. Your attention will be magnetically drawn to the evidence of your assumption, because your world must rearrange itself to match your dominant state of awareness, from effort to naturalness. At first, assumption may feel like effort. You may try to force yourself to believe something new, but persistence turns assumption into naturalness, and naturalness is the secret sign of manifestation. When a state feels natural to you, it is ready to express itself. The outer world can do nothing but conform. Stop struggling to make things happen. Instead, assume the state of the one to whom it has already happened. Walk, speak, and feel as that person now. Your inner acceptance will do all the work. The bridge of incidents. Once you assume the feeling of the wish, fulfilled life begins to rearrange events, often in ways you could never plan. This invisible intelligence orchestrates a bridge of incidents, leading you naturally to the fulfillment of your assumption. You may call it coincidence, but it is the universe fulfilling its law. Every event, every encounter becomes a stepping stone to the world you have already accepted within. Do not question how. The how is the domain of the unseen. Your task is only to remain faithful to the end, to dwell in the feeling of completion. Faith in the invisible. Faith is not blind belief. It is loyalty to the unseen reality you have chosen to assume. When your outer world seems unchanged, remember, the seed has already been planted. It will grow, for it cannot do otherwise. The gardener does not dig up the soil each morning to see if the seed has sprouted. He trusts the process of life itself. So must you trust the process of consciousness. Summary of the law's operation. 1. Consciousness is the only reality. 2. Assumption defines the state of consciousness. 3. Feeling gives assumption its creative power. 4. Persistence turns feeling into natural expression. 5. The outer world mirrors your inner belief. This is the divine mechanism of creation. Simple, silent, yet absolute. You are never punished for your assumptions. You are punished by them. Because the universe mirrors what you hold as true. Likewise, you are never rewarded by grace. You are rewarded through the same law. For grace itself is the realization of your highest assumption. Therefore, do not wait for the world to change. Change your assumption, and the world will follow like a shadow follows light. In this understanding lies freedom. For you are no longer a victim of circumstance, but the conscious creator of your own destiny.